Here are 5 foods you need to avoid if you want to lose body fat. Before I talk about this, please stay until the end because we got a bonus product that everybody uses in the fitness industry. Stay for that bonus. The first one is sugar. I'm sure you've read so much about sugar. You've heard so many people talk about sugar. Listen, when you talk about sugar, we're not talking about just a table sugar. We talk about both natural and unnatural sugar. When I say unnatural sugar, sugar is just isolated crystals. From sugar cane. We're not talking about just that. We're talking about natural sugar in fruits as well. Sugar is sugar, and you got to remember that every time you eat, your body's trying to decide what to do with the energy from the food. Now, the foods that trigger a quick response from insulin, because every food that you eat has its insulin response. Insulin is what stores the energy for you. So when you eat the food, your body has to convert the energy into either the energy for you to use straight away or store it for you to use at difficult times. That's how the body is designed. Now, the foods that trigger a quick response from insulin, which is the storage hormone, those are the foods that are telling your body to store energy for hard times, a rainy day. And these are the foods that are high in sugar. So every time you put chocolate in your mouth, every time you eat, put all these sweets in your mouth, all this stuff, that there's so many products that we've got. If you buy cereal, so full of sugar, everything that you eat has got sugar. Most of what we got. If you buy cooked chicken, sometimes it's got like sugar, brown sugar added to it. It might be a small amount, but that is still telling your body to store energy for a rainy day. And when that your body makes a decision to store that energy, it doesn't want to spend energy. That's why you're tired. That's when you're struggling, and then you're feeling hungry because sugar releases insulin very quickly. Blood sugar goes right up, and then your body releases insulin to deal with it. And as soon as there's too much insulin in your body, then your body asks you for some more food. And then you keep eating the sugar. It's a vicious circle. And then all that energy is being stored for you to use when times are difficult. But at the same time, you've got no energy, and the body's asking for more because the blood sugar goes low. So blood sugar is constantly up and down, and that's why you're struggling. That's why you're putting on the body fat. Remember, you're gaining body fat because you're eating food that is telling your body to store energy as fat. It's not because the amount you're eating, it's the type of food you're eating. Sugar is the worst. The second one is bread. You see, bread has been normalized. Everywhere you go, you see bread. And I mean, when I was younger, we used to get bread from the bakery, and when you brought it home, after about 1 or 2 days, it got ruined. But now it's not like that. The bread that you get from the bakery, it's got so many ingredients. Bread is not good for us. Now, gluten, it's not good for us. It's a protein that our guts cannot break down. That's one thing. And the second thing is that as soon as you put the bread in your mouth, your body breaks it down to sugar. So remember that bread is not good if you're trying to lose body fat, even in moderation. They'll tell you eat in moderation. If you want to lose body fat, bread, I don't consider bread food, but bread is something that you should stay away from for as long as possible. And then once you've lost the body fat, once you've become fat adapted, that means your body's learned to use both fats and carbs equally. Then you can say, okay, I can add a bit of bread here and there, but right now, stay away from bread for a minute because bread is not your friend. It'll convert to sugar. Sometimes you hear people saying, wholemeal bread and white bread. Okay, it may be a little bit better, in terms of it may have a bit more fiber, but the bottom line is they both have the same insulin response. As soon as you put the bread in your mouth, the amylase, which is an enzyme in your saliva, it breaks it down to glucose, and then the body absorbs it, and then it tells your body to store that energy from that bread for a rainy day. And you have to be aware of that. The third one is rice. Rice is almost the same as bread. We talk about the glycemic index. Every food that you eat is measured against glucose, which is 100. Bread is quite high, and then rice is also quite high. Don't make the mistake of thinking it's white rice and brown rice. They're all the same. In fact, if you want to eat rice when you're fat adapted, the only rice I suggest people to eat is like the black rice or wild rice. They're better for you because they're a bit more fiber. The rice that you get from the shops, it's just like sugar basically. As soon as you eat it, I wear a glucose monitor sometimes, and the food that raises my blood sugar the highest and the fastest, it's always been white rice. Rice is not your friend. If you're trying to lose body fat, stay away from rice for a while. Once you've reached your goal, and then if you want to eat a bit of rice here and there, that's fine, but not yet. Just keep rice at bay. The same goes for brown rice. So it's not just white rice. Brown rice, white rice, body treats them both the same. Don't make that mistake. Low fat products, number 4. When you talk about low fat products, I'm not talking about, let's say, chicken breasts or prawns or cod that are quite low fat. I'm talking about all the products that when you look on the packet, you see a massive big sign that says low fat, reduced fat, fat free, light, ultra light, and that's all. They're not food. These are foods that have been destroyed. They've added so many chemicals and other stuff to it. So please don't buy them. They're not food. When you see something low fat like that, to make it into low fat, if they get a whole food and they make it into whole fat, they have to either take something away from it or add something to it. And in the process, they destroy the food. Sometimes they add products that are not good for your gut, emulsifiers, stabilizers, colorings, flavorings, all these things. They're not food. I'm lucky in the sense that if I eat something like that, my body will instantly tell me, stop, I'll get gut ache. I've always been like that, I get gut ache. Whereas some other people are not so lucky. They can eat that food all the time, and then somewhere down the line, they're like, okay, why are you sick? They're telling us most of the illnesses that we got, this autoimmune disease, all of them, and one out of 2 of us who get cancer now. That's because of all that we eat. All we're eating is causing us problems, but we don't realize that because they've been normalized. You go to the shops, it's everywhere. If you go to a shop and you look at it, they'll have a big low fat at the front of it, and then look at the back of it. You see all the ingredients. They're the ones you'll be paying attention to. They're not proper food. Don't eat them. Fruit and honey. Whenever I mention fruit and honey, I get a lot of stick on social media. I had a lot of stick on my social media platforms when I talk about fruit and honey. Fruit is also sugar. If you're trying to lose body fat, there are 2 routes that you can actually become insulin resistant. That means your cells are not relating very well to your insulin. In all the bodybuilding, you see I'm a bodybuilder and I prepped hundreds of thousands of people over the years. I had a team called Team Savage, and that's how I know this about people. When you look at bodybuilders, especially the ones who are carrying excess body fat, they are not insulin sensitive enough. They don't realize that. That's the reason why you're taking a lot of drugs. This is an anabolic hormone, a very important anabolic hormone if you're trying to build muscle or if you're trying to lose body fat. When your insulin is not relating well to your cells, you're insulin resistant. And when bodybuilders are carrying so much fat here and you say to them, you know what, you're carrying a lot of fat, they don't seem to understand it because the insulin is not working properly for them. Now, one of the ways that you can actually become insulin resistant is by eating too much fructose. So it's not just playing around with blood sugar up and down that you can become insulin resistant, but also eating too much fructose. And where do you find fructose? You find fructose in honey, you find fructose in fruit. People don't want to hear that. I'm not saying don't eat fruit again. I'm saying that if you want to lose body fat and you want to eat the right stuff, stay away from fruits for a while. Stay away from the mangoes and the pineapples and the oranges and the apples and the bananas. Stay away from them for a minute. The only fruit you can incorporate into your diet for a while are the berries. And even then, be careful because I see some of the strawberries and blueberries, they look so big. Just the berries for now until you've reached your goal. Once you've reached your goal, and then you can start those fruits. But right now, those berries, they are low in sugar, they're a bit more high in fiber. Some doctor called me and says, Eddie, fruit contains fiber. I'm like, that's not the truth. The amount of fiber that you need, you can get that from cruciferous vegetables. Get your fiber from vegetables for now. I'm not saying don't eat fruit again. I'm saying that fruit is not going to help your cause right now. It's a natural sugar, but it is still sugar. Your body doesn't know the difference between the fruit and the sugar that you're eating. Fruit contains glucose and fructose, and table sugar contains fructose and glucose. The same thing. So that if you're trying to lose body fat, just try and minimize that for a while. Honey, Manuka honey. The only thing that you need honey for, really, the reason why people, I would suggest honey to somebody, it's the antioxidant, antibacterial effect, but it is still sugar. It doesn't matter whether it's Manuka honey. It doesn't matter whether, most of the honey that you buy from the supermarkets are just sugar, basically. So I just say, local honey, which is difficult to get because there are no local farms around many in the UK. Everything that you get is from the big supermarkets. You can get local honey. In Manuka honey, just read the ingredients. If you read it, it's so difficult these days to get proper honey. So be careful. The bonus product, whey protein. Whenever I say this, it's a controversy. Already, whey is still food. Listen, whey is a chemical concoction that's been made in the lab. When I started bodybuilding, 80, whey wasn't available. Whey used to be a byproduct of cheese manufacture. They used to throw whey away. And then somebody had a bright idea and said, let's make it into food. I don't consider whey food. That's what I learned at the beginning of my bodybuilding career. I had mainly food, and then supplement companies came along. They confused all of us. I bought into it. I was drinking whey almost all the time. But you see, here's the thing: there are no nutrients in whey apart from the bit of protein that you're getting from it. It doesn't matter what they tell you. Whatever is put in there is synthetic. Your body will not absorb it the same way. So most of the whey that you drink will spike your insulin and cause your body to store energy for a rainy day. So if you're trying to lose body fat and your trainer says you need to increase your protein, use whey protein, don't use it. It may help you achieve your goal, but it is still telling your body to store energy for a rainy day because the body treats most of the way you drink as sugar, like it did with me. Every time I wore a glucose monitor, I drank whey protein and my insulin level went up. At the same time, whey is not good for your gut as well. It causes an imbalance in your gut microbiome. So please stay away from the whey protein. I bet you didn't know that. By the way, guys, if you're interested in learning a bit more about fat loss, I've launched my private community. It's a community that I focus on. That's my full-time job now. The benefits are all in the list that we've given. Click the link in the description to join. If you enjoyed our video, please like it and subscribe to our channel. It helps us grow and we can provide more content for you. Thank you for watching.